Hi, today I'm going to be trying a bunch of new complexion products, including the new Patrick Ta foundation that I'm so excited about. I've already played with it like just like a teeny little bit. This is the Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. Mouthful. Gorgeous packaging. I'll be honest, the colors that were sent to me are, actually I have another one. Should I use this one? This one is like, this is shade 6 Neutral, which is, it's a little too red for me. In fact, you know what's really funny? If you take a look at that, you can actually see red pigment. Do you see that? That's, at first I looked at it and I was like, oh, maybe it's just like a little gap, you know, and I need to mix it up. But that is actually a little bit of red pigment in the foundation. Lol. They sent me two or three shades. This one is the closest to the value of my skin, but it is too red. I believe they are going to be sending me a color that is more appropriate for my skin tone, based on my feedback, but I don't have it yet. And I wanted to show you the formula. So all of my like fair olive people, just like bear with me, okay? I actually did like quite an extensive skin prep today for specifically like special event kind of makeup, which is going to be a separate video. But my primer is just the Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Moisture Airy Fit Daily Sunscreen. All these products have to have like a million titles. It's SPF 50, slightly more matte, but moisturizing, which is nice. So obviously I'm looking pretty glowy. This is what I applied. I'm not gonna use any primer. We're just gonna go straight in, okay? So I have a few different complexion products. I have some stuff from, what's this guy's name? Oh, there's like nothing on this. I think it's Makeup by Mitchell. These things, the curve cases. I have some new stuff from Kosas. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start off with the Patrick Ta foundation. So this is I don't know if this is supposed to be like a hydrating, or not hydrating, a serum foundation. I'm obviously not gonna mix it with like a green color corrector today for me because I wanna like show you what the formula is like. So I'm just gonna put one pump on the back of my hand. I mean, you can see, it's a very neutral foundation. It's not perfect. It's not perfection for my skin. And it's very, very liquidy. It immediately starts running. I'm gonna use a brush to apply this. I'm gonna be using my Refer Bio4 brush. I've been really it might as well be a beauty blender, but in brush form. So I'm gonna tap into that. Pat it out on the back of my hand, just so you guys know, if there is like the sound is bothering you, it's Labor Day, and there's quite a bit of partying going on out there. Unfortunately, my studio is on the very corner of the neighborhood. So whatever partying happens, we're gonna hear it. So I'm gonna make up for this shade, since it is not perfect for my skin tone, with like probably a more yellow concealer, just to balance it out. But I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna start in the center of my face. I think they're listening to Queen. So we're gonna look real dewy for a while, but I do have some powders that I'm very excited to try out. There's something about this foundation when I used it the other day, it is extremely glowy, okay? It's very, very glowy. Like I'm looking like a little dewdrop. But I don't know, there's something about it, like the coverage is surprising, but it's also not too much. It feels buildable. The other day I tried it and I think I used Nikki LaRose's like little foundation brush. I love Nikki, I love all of her brushes. I'm not the biggest fan of like applying my foundation with a brush typically, and I haven't really used that one that much, so I couldn't really tell. But from what I could tell, the foundation has like a really incredible kind of just like melty formula. Like it just kind of melts into the skin. And as of right now, I mean, like, do you see that? Like it just kind of, let's see, I want to see how much I can like build it up. That was one pump and I'm just kind of slowly like dipping my brush back in, picking it up. I kind of want to just see how much coverage I can build up while maintaining that sort of like skin-like glow, skincare glow. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just kind of dipping back in and like using up the one pump, but so far I've only used the one pump. I haven't gone it back in with any more. I'm just making sure that I'm like working all around my face. Since this color is not perfect for my skin tone, I'm just gonna gently bring it down my neck a little bit. So I'm like very happy with this foundation. I think it's gonna look stunning when I have the correct shade. Let me just give you a deep zoom so you can see how it's like working with my sunscreen. Obviously extremely glowy right now, like really glowy. But I've had a problem with a lot of dryness in this area if you've watched any of my like most recent videos. So I'm not mad at it at all. Obviously I'm gonna be using powder, like my face is not gonna continue to look like this. But in terms of a dewy moisturizing kind of foundation applied with a brush on top of sunscreen, I'm feeling intriguement. And actually the color doesn't look like, it's not perfect. It's not a color I would use, but it's not the end of the world, you know? Ugh. The next product is really dewy too, so we're gonna get real glowy. So the next product I'm really excited about, I picked up finally the Curve case from, please tell me it's Makeup by Mitchell. This is the lightest one, I believe. I think it's fair or it's light, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's fair. Ooh, look at that. Now the reason I got this is, and shout out, thank you so much, I don't know if you see this video, but Ernesto Casillas, such an amazing makeup artist. I've talked about him before. I recreated the look that he did on Doja Cat, or I didn't recreate it, but I used it as inspiration for like it was like a Doja Cat inspired makeup look when she was like going super grungy, like when she first started going like super grungy and like really smoked and shit. I was very inspired by the looks he was doing on her. He's an amazing makeup artist, whatever. I follow him, I love him. He saw this and sent me a message and was like, have you seen this palette? There's like some seriously olive contour shades in it. And I was like, oh my God. Now I've been looking at these palettes, like kind of like here and there. I've definitely been interested in them. But the fact that he sent me a photo and I was just like, that is literally like, look at this color. To all my olive peeps out there. Look at that. Are you kidding me? And then also like this one for really, really, really fair skin. Like if you're so incredibly fair, but you're olive, like, oh, so good. So in my opinion, these are very much like contour shades. This is probably the closest to a bronzer that I would use, but still more contour. But then also just the blush colors are really beautiful. And I touched this a little bit and it's a little makeup flash palette-y, you know what I mean? Like a little bit like of a thicker kind of oily formula. So I'm hoping that it's not completely like, I don't know, overwhelming with the dew that I have going on, but I'm very excited to use it because I've only swatched it. I haven't like used it on my face. So I'm gonna use my Rephr brush, the AA01. I'm just gonna wipe it on my Sigma switch because I'm traveling soon and I was putting off washing my brushes for right before I leave. So I'm gonna dip into Dune Up, which is that's a very appropriate name. Oh, dude. That color like disappears. That color is so olive, bro. Oh, it's the only thing is that it's a very, very wet formula. But look at that. Ooh, that disappears. Like if we compare that to my natural shadows, maybe it's like it's ever so slightly more green, but that looks pretty amazing. I want to throw this on my jawline really bad. I kind of wish that the darker ones were slightly more olive, you know? Ooh. That like, oh, wow. Wow, I'm just thankful for a palette that has such an olive contour shade for fair skin, you know? Wow, that color really disappears. That's amazing. I think this is probably gonna be a new favorite for specifically for my jawline, because it is so like, it's so underneath. It needs that shadow, you know what I mean? Like it needs that really like cool toned color. Interesting, they kind of smell like baby wipes. And it's not so dark that it's not easy to blend, you know what I mean? Very, oh, wow, I love that. So good, it just looks like the natural shadow. Look at that. That's so wild. I'm so happy with that. If it were, my only criticism would be how like wet the formula is. It is quite a wet formula. I kind of wish that it was like a little bit more matte. It would be awesome if he had like 2 versions of these palettes. One that was like for dry skin, like this, and then one that was like more of a soft matte, satiny kind of formula. I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna dip into this shade, which is Cloud Carve. I'm just gonna build this and ever so slightly like warm it up. I feel like that color is a little, honestly, too olive for like this part of my cheekbone. But I'm very excited to use this color for my my nose contour. This color I think is gonna be just too light for me. Like it's almost my skin tone. Maybe I should have picked up the slightly darker one. I might do that. Because I'm kind of feeling, despite like how much I love this, did I not fully blend this? This for my jawline, this contour color for my jawline. I kind of feel like I wish I had slightly darker colors. I'm gonna go into this one. Be the light, ever so slightly darker colors for my cheekbones. Because right now I feel like I'm having a difficult time kind of building up the color. Like it's so subtle, you know, which I wasn't expecting from this palette. Colors are really good though. Oh, I have conflicting feelings because it's very weird. It's very wet. It's very wet. But I do think that that color right there looks very, very natural. All right, I'm gonna use my Sephora 15 brush. I'm gonna use this in a really long time. And the Dune Up color, this one, for my nose contour. And maybe I'll use it for my lip contour. Ooh, it's just like very, it's very, very, very pigmented. Yeah, I don't think, I think it's too light. I think I need the light, I think I need the light palette. Because I'm not really seeing that. I mean, I can see like a little bit, but it's not doing a ton. Very, very pigmented. A little bit goes a really long way for sure. So far, I love it for my jawline, and I think that's it. Like it's the perfect color. If it were like ever so slightly darker, I think it would be the perfect color for my jawline. Like absolute perfect color. I'm gonna try, I might just mix these two. Oh, do I need to use blush? I can't use blush because I'm filming something else with blush. Oh, I have the, also Makeup by Mitchell. I have the color, what does this say? Color Case Corrector Tours? Oh, Correctors. Stupid. Really? Correctors. Color Case Correctors. So we have some like, I would say that these formulas are like more what I want for the contour formula. They're a little bit more of like a soft sort of matte formula. Also very, very pigmented. But yeah, I kind of, if I had the curve case in this formula, I think I would really like it. So I'm gonna mix the yellow and the peach to correct my under eyes before I conceal. Ooh, but first off camera, or just like real quick, I'm gonna breeze through it. I'm just gonna do a little bit of bronzing and contouring my nose with my like regular products. Merit bronzer, Quince or Quince. I don't know why I say Quince. I don't know. I need to set my face because the dew and all these lights is making it really hard for me to even see what the hell's going on it. It's kind of ridiculous. Lily by Red, smiley blending stick thing. Okay, maybe I'll do a brow real quick. Off camera. Now they're listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I guess I'll spot conceal off camera or speed through or something. My face is looking real wet right now. It's looking real wet. I'm a little worried because the powders that I'm trying today are very luminous. And I don't know that I need any more luminosity. So I'm gonna mix the yellow and the peach, like I said, from this little palette. What brush am I gonna use? I'm gonna use all my brushes are dirty. You know what, let me use Nikki's N16 brush. So I'm just gonna dip into each of these and then just kind of like to mix. And then I'm just gonna buff it on the back of my hand first. So we're kind of creating like a nice warm yellowy peach. Probably looks really yellow on camera, but it's got a little bit more peach than your typical yellow. Use this to do a little bit of color correction. And warming underneath my eyes. Ooh, it's a little too yellow. No, it's okay, it's fine. These are definitely very, very pigmented, but a nice soft matte, which I appreciate. Like a little bit is going a very long way. I wasn't expecting that much. Just gonna blend. I haven't gone in with my concealer yet, obviously, so that does like quite a bit of work, but it adds a little bit, it's a little yellowy, but it's adding like a good amount of warmth, and it's also correcting some of the purpley tones around my eyes. I have kind of like purpley brown reddish dark circles, you know? Now I can do a little bit of brightening with my concealer, which I'm also going to speed through because it's not new. But I am going to be using my Rare Beauty concealer in 100W because it's light and it's a little bit yellowy in tone. So I'm just taking this around all of the areas that need a little bit of coverage, but mostly brightening. Areas that I kind of like omitted when I was going in with my foundation or didn't focus on as much in terms of coverage. I'm using this little Kosas face detailer brush. I think it's for a powder, but I thought it would be pretty good for blending concealer. Okay, despite the fact that I'm still looking extremely dewy, I feel like things are starting to come together. And the colors are nice. Like, even though that foundation is not perfect for my skin tone, I feel like everything's working, like I'm balancing things well, you know? So, I'm getting nervous because we're testing some new powders. All right, I'm gonna start off with my under eyes. And I'm gonna use the Typology Paris T32 AM powder. That's all I got. It's a mattifying loose powder, but dude, does it have pearl in it? Let me just show you a quick little swatch up close, because I swatched this the other day and I was like, damn, dude. Like the Givenchy reformulation, it's giving it a run for its money. Oh, it doesn't look that shimmery here. Maybe you can't see it. It's like right here. I don't know. Maybe that looks matte to you. Oh, I don't know. There's definitely a soft pearl in it. There's definitely a soft pearl, but maybe I just got like a weird chunk of it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna apply, actually, you know what, I'll use a puff. I'll use my Linda Hallberg's puff. So I'm gonna load up my puff, pat it on the back of my hand to work it into the puff. It's looking a little bit more matte. Okay, maybe I just got like a weird chunk. We'll see. And then I'm gonna make sure that I'm nice and patted out. I'm just gonna focus this underneath my eyes, not all over the face. Okay, that's not bad. I don't know what happened. I don't know what gave me the impression that it had like a lot of pearl, chunky pearl in it. I like swatched it yesterday because I was like trying to think of powders to use. It does have a slight, like a very fine pearl in it to make it not look super duper matte or dry, but that's actually not bad. And the color isn't bad either. Impressed. I might end up taking that down the side of my nose and like around my nose, actually, since it's not so shiny. I thought it was gonna be, I don't mind using a more reflective powder underneath my eyes because I have dark circles, tend to get like some dryness there. So anything that's light reflecting is pretty nice. You know, I used my e.l.f. Halo Glow powder forever. I'm just experimenting with new products. Smooth, looks smooth. It's a little darker than what I usually use, but I could probably use a little bit of a finishing powder after. I am gonna use that. I'm gonna use that around this whole area to set this area. I'm gonna do the same thing, just put a little bit in the cap, work it into the puff. That's not bad. Okay. See, I was starting to panic because, you know, Givenchy reformulated and I haven't tried the new one yet. I don't have it yet. So I'm a little nervous about like, what am I going to use on my face? Like, am I going to be able to use that powder? We'll see if any oil starts to come through. Hopefully not, because I want to use a finishing powder that is glowy. So, okay, after I'm done using this on the puff, I'm just going to put a little bit of it on, I'm just going to use a brush and lightly dust it around the rest of my face. And then anywhere that still needs to be sufficiently spot concealed, I'm just gonna go in with a little Bare Minerals Well Rested to increase coverage in those areas. You probably can't hear it, but Ziva's snoring really loud right now. That is so loud, and it sounds like it's just coming from like someone's car parked outside. Like, it doesn't sound like it's coming from someone's apartment, but maybe it's on the first floor, I don't know. Okay, now I'm using a finishing powder that I'm very excited about. So this is the Kosas Buttery Cloud Set. They recently launched, let me grab the other shades. They recently launched 3 shades, and I only have one right now. Ugh. So they launched a pink one, Candy Cloud Set, which is obviously for fair skin, because everybody thinks that pink is fair. Pink is for fair skin, but whatever. Looks nice, you know, pink. It's their classic Cloud Set formula, but with these like sheer kind of colors that are, it's more of a finishing powder. What I find kind of strange is that the pink one is a little bit more matte, and the yellow one, which is meant for like more medium skin, is, oh, this is the shade Buttery. They're just Cloud Set powders. It has a little bit more pearl in it, which is kind of intriguing to me. At least it looks like it has a little, like, I swatched them yesterday and they looked like this one had a little bit more pearl than the pink. And then they also have Peachy, which is meant for deeper skin tones, which when I'm looking at it, looks pretty similar in formula to the pink one. So for whatever reason, the yellow one has like ever so slightly more pearl in it. But yeah, the formulas, I love the Cloud Set powders, like the original Cloud Set powder. So now we have the colors. So I'm gonna use the yellow one as kind of like a finishing powder on my Makeup Forever 156 brush, which will also, since it's yellow, kind of help balance out the Patrick Ta foundation. So obviously we set with the other powder, but now I'm going to use this to kind of like blur around the rest of the face. This is, I'm entering my finishing powder era. Definitely gives my skin more of a yellow hue, which I'm not mad at because I'm pretty yellow. It definitely balances that foundation out a little bit. It looks nice enough. It added a little bit of blurring. I'm still like learning. I'm still learning about finishing powders, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I can necessarily compare it to like the Rare Beauty one. The Rare Beauty one is much more of a neutral color and it's just a little bit more matte. Yeah. I think I'm still figuring out what brush is best to use with these powders. They definitely do like create a smoothing effect, you know? But I guess, I don't know, there's something about me that doesn't really like the smoothing. I don't really like the smoothing effect. But I don't know, the Kosas powder seems nice. If you're a fan of the like original Cloud Set powders and you're looking for like more, you know, I appreciate that they're not like completely translucent in the same way that a lot of like translucent powders are, you know, they have like different kinds of tints to them with like the bright yellow, the pink, the peach. So I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of appreciate it for that. But I don't know, I just kind of feel like I don't need a finishing powder. That's how I feel. That being said, I'm gonna go in with a teeny bit of the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder. This is the white one with that same brush. Just here to do a little gentle brightening. Because I feel like I lost a little bit of the brightening when I applied that powder. I'm not placing it, you'll notice I'm not placing it on my dark circles, I'm just placing it like underneath, like just right here. Just to kind of like brighten and bring focus back to around the eyes. All right, guys, final thoughts on these new complexion products. Let me give you a deep zoom so you can like really see what's popping up in here. I'm seeing a little bit of oil coming through here. I don't I don't know about that Typology powder. It seemed fine, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna replace my Prism, my Givenchy powder. I really just don't. The foundation, I think, I really, really liked it when I tried it the other day. I think that it's just a little too wet to be an over sunscreen foundation. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be a little bit more of a, I don't know. If like you have ridiculously dry skin, I think you're going to love it. I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to be like continuing to use it because like I said, I think they're sending me a more appropriate shade, and I'm very excited to see how that shade compares. And I personally, I think that the combination of like the foundation being so dewy on top of my sunscreen kind of makes it difficult for me to sufficiently critique these powders. You know what I mean? Like, I think if it was like on top of a regular base where I wasn't using sunscreen, I wasn't using such a dewy foundation, I actually think that the powders would probably perform a little bit better. That being said, I don't think I'm a fan of the Typology powder for underneath my eyes. Like, I just don't think that this is like really working for me. I'm feeling like it's a little too drying, and I'm getting quite a bit of like creasing. I just don't really get that with my e.l.f. Halo Glow powder, so I feel like I gotta go back to that. And then the Cloud set seems okay. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I feel like I just don't need finishing powders in my life. I don't know. If you have a compelling argument for why I need a finishing powder in my life, please tell me. I also kind of feel like the Makeup by Mitchell color corrector was just like a little too thick and matte. I used a very small amount, and obviously like the pigment was really nice. I don't know. I kind of love my Nougatine concealer as a color corrector, you know? And then I guess I can zoom you out now. You've seen what's happening here. I do think that the color of the Curve palette is like so incredibly natural. Like it just looks like natural shadows on my face. That being said, I do think that the Curve Case formulas are just a little too heavy and wet for my skin type. If you're extremely dry, I think it's great. It's definitely like, I kind of love that he's catering towards like pros, you know, with these palettes that have a bunch of different colors for doing people's makeup. In that case, it's really, I think, a great palette for everyday use for like the regular person. Obviously, these tones are so incredibly olive, and if you're like even more fair than I am and you're like looking for a contour color that is not going to look orange, you might want to pick it up, because that's just like, that's amazing. But it was like, this color was just very, very light. So I do like it for my like jawline, underneath my jawline, because it looks incredibly natural, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I have products that work better. Like I feel like my Anastasia Fawn just works a little bit better for my cheekbones, and then my little blendy stick for my nose and my lips just is great. Like I couldn't really see this on my nose too well. You know? Next time I'll dip into the blushes, but I'm filming something else that requires me to show blush. So I'm not gonna do it this time. But yeah, I'm glad that I finally picked it up. I was super intrigued. One powder that I didn't use, but I have been using regularly recently is the new Tower 28 setting powders. This has just been like a really nice setting powder, and it's very, very blurring. And I think if I end up using the new Givenchy powder and it doesn't work for me, then I think this is going to be my new go-to setting powder, because it is very, very nice. Actually, let me just, I don't want to be like building up too much powder on my face, but if I just like use a different corner of my LH, I'll just kind of like tap into it like that, pat it out, and then you see how we're like developing a little bit of shine in this area. It's very, very smoothing and matte. So if you don't want a shiny powder, you know, it's really, really nice. I've been enjoying it. I just wanted to test out that Typology powder, but I have a feeling This one is gonna be my new go-to setting powder. And I'm using the shade right now. I'm using the shade Palisade Pink. Just kind of like a neutral, translucent, you know? All right, guys, those are all the new complexion products that I wanted to try. Just like a few, you know, nothing crazy, but wanted to give them a shot, especially the Curve case. Was super interested in this. I'm definitely going to continue using these products. This was just kind of like a first impressions. Let's see how these things work together. So you may see them in future videos. Let me know if you want to deep dive on anything specific. Yeah, that's all I got for you, bro. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe and comment and like and whatever. And you can sign up to become a member. There's going to be regular membership live streams only for members coming up. So you can do that somewhere on my channel. I'm gonna go because I got other stuff I gotta film. So, bye.